Hey y'all, it's Ashley from Fleet Feet. Today we're talking about a major overhaul to a cult classic that is available in store. We're talking about the New Balance 880 version 10. If you're new here, please click below to subscribe and also be sure to download the Fleet Feet app. With the Fleet Feet Rewards app, you have the chance to test and review gear and also provide us with feedback. Check out the link in the description below, download the app, and subscribe for notifications for gear reviews, athlete interviews, how-tos, and more. Back to the review. The designers at New Balance took blueprints of the 880 from all of the iterations before and utilized those to create the new version. So you can rest assured that the 880 version 10 is built on the same last and with the same design as all of the 880s before. However, there are a few key updates that bring the shoe into the future. Let's check them out. First, the specs. The shoe weighs 8.9 ounces for a women's sample size 8 and 10.7 ounces for a men's sample size 9.5. The shoe has a 10mm drop from heel to toe. It's classified as a neutral cushioned trainer that is suited for everything from road to track. You can buy this shoe in Fleet Feet stores for $125. All right, so we did a phone interview with New Balance while we were working on this review just to get their input on some of the changes. We talked to Andrew Nyson, who is a senior creative designer at New Balance. Here's what he had to say. A lot of times, shoes like this can be seen as sacred and you can't change too much. Yes, I agree. I was very nervous about the changes. Then he goes on to say, but they knew the changes that they were making in the 880 were really important to making it better. So what did they do? The hypo-knit upper is more breathable than uppers in previous iterations. The other thing I noticed is it does feel somewhat more flexible. The 880 version 9 used two different types of foam in the midsole. Version 10 uses fresh foam exclusively throughout the midsole, but what's really cool about this update is that while New Balance used one type of foam, they incorporated two densities of that foam. And here's why. New Balance used pressure mapping data to determine where and how they were going to incorporate these different densities of foam. So the data they gathered showed that runners put a lot of pressure on their forefoot, and that skewed toward the lateral side of their shoe. That's also where runners generate their power to push off again at the end of their stride. So New Balance dialed in the zone of higher rebound foam to mimic the pressure map. And then in the heel, they used a softer foam to absorb impact when a runner lands. This is such a cool innovation in shoe development because it really feels like one density of foam, one smooth layer as you're running. That's just because New Balance has tapped into those dynamic areas where your foot moves and what you need with each stride. They took the same research and applied it to the outsole, which is one of my next favorite things about the 880. It has always been a very grippy shoe. It's definitely the shoe I reach for when it's raining or there's mud on the roads because I have confidence that I can go through that and I'm not going to slip. The outsole still covers a pretty wide surface area on the bottom of the shoe, which definitely enhances durability and adds to that traction that we have come to love from the 880. So you'll notice now the pattern on the bottom of the shoe is different than iterations before. Larger hexagonal patterns follow the area of the most pressure in the shoe, and you see smaller hexagons in areas of less pressure. So how does the 880 version 10 feel in comparison to version 9 when you're running? Number one, it definitely feels softer. If you're a devout follower of the 880, you know you have come to expect the firm, responsive feel. Version 10 doesn't feel firm, it just feels soft, yet responsive. Number two, the upper feels more breathable and hugs the midfoot a little tighter. While these shoes are built on the same last, there is a slight difference in the toe box. A lot of our testers agree that version 10's toe box feels slightly tapered on the lateral side. And if you look at a side-by-side comparison, you can actually see that. Overall, I found 880 version 10 to still be the reliable shoe that I know and love, but a little softer and maybe a little more narrow in parts of the toe box. Before we go, my top 3 favorite things about the new shoe. Number 1, the grippy outsole. Number 2, the structure of the revamped upper. And number 3, the availability of a lot of different widths in this shoe makes it accessible for a lot of different foot shapes. So if you're interested in trying the updated version, I recommend that you go in-store to try it on, see what you think. Please comment below and let us know how you feel about this new update with the fresh foam and the new upper of the 880.